Hey, cousins, we're going to continue the conversation about NXT and the failure of the system, or what is perceived to be a failure of the system. Y'all already know how I feel about y'all. I got to dive into these topics, okay? Booker T. Booker T was on his podcast, the Hall of Fame podcast, and I'm going to be honest with you. I actually agree with Booker T, but I would actually kind of tweak what he was saying about the system of NXT and the pipeline, and why he was confused by Wesley specifically not lasting and what went wrong. But he's made some very good points, and I want to discuss that right now. Let's get into it. Last weekend, WWE released a number of developmental talents from NXT. I am reading an article from WrestleZone. So Ella J wrote it. I want to give people their credit because I ain't trying to hear it. Evolve and WWID brands. First of all, I don't even know what WWID brands are being emanated from. Evolve is over on Tubi, and I already said I don't even like what Evolve got going on, and I need to talk about why I don't like it. Okay, and NXT. Okay, which has become a staple. I'm in and out of NXT. I do watch NXT. I'm in and out, but it does not hold my attention like it should, especially because some of the people that's being elevated, I do not agree with. Moving right along. One of the names ousted from NXT was former NXT North American champion Wesley, who first signed with the WWE in late 2020. Wesley was with the company for 5 years. And one can say that is a very big problem. Let's go ahead and table that point, and we'll get back to it. On the Hall of Fame podcast, WWE Hall of Famer and NXT commentator Booker T weighed in on Wesley's departure and his potential next steps outside of WWE. And I quote, Booker T said, Wesley is a guy that's highly, highly talented. Wesley is a guy that I would have thought would have been safe. But I think also about what this thing is all about. NXT being a developmental system. Wesley was there for 5 years? When you've been in the developmental system for 5 years and you're not looked upon as being someone that's got to make it on the main roster, you could be one of the guys that's going to get cut. Booker T went on to say, that's what I think about when I look at a lot of these young talents out there. If they were just happy being a part of it, and I don't think about that when it comes to Wesley at all, he said, I feel like this guy, his talent was extraordinary. One of the best North American champions in NXT, if not the best. A guy who could go out there and fight, and then he could fly and do all types of stuff. Of course, there's a place for someone like Wesley. And of course, he can go to TNA. And of course, AEW would pick up a guy like that just because he's talented and just, awesome good dude. For the remaining talents, Booker T went on to say, as far as developmental system, I would implore guys to think about what they got, maybe 2 and 2.5 years at that. So you better be motivated to try to figure out what this thing is about. You might not want to act like they're like the elder statesmen like myself, but you better, if you want to know what it takes to make it to the next level, you better be asking everybody possible you can, who's been there and done that, what's it gonna take for me to get there? Don't cruise. Don't put in cruise control, because you can find yourself being one of these guys getting released. He went on to say, I want to let these guys know that the clock is ticking and they're watching to see if you are one of the guys perhaps that can make it on the main roster and make it to SummerSlam, WrestleMania, and all the big events. I'm going to say this. I agree with Booker T. And I'm going to go a step further. 5 years is too long. He said 2.5 years. I say the developmental brand, everyone should be signed to at least a 3-year exclusive deal. And pay these motherfuckers at least 125, 175 a year. Shit, they got to pay for it. We ain't even going to go down that road because I'm about to get riled up. At least 3-year deals exclusive to NXT contract. And I'm going to tell you why. This is my thought process on how to tweak the system. Every year, a year to 6 months, if you're going to have people holding those titles for at least 3 to 6 months at a time, they should be hot potato. NXT titles should not be held on to longer than 6 months. in a 3-year span, right? Because my thought process is this: if you want your NXT talent to know what it's like to be a main card, which is the NXT main title, mid card, which is the North American title, and tag team, which you need to bring back those titles. Because the men have a tag team title, but the women don't. I don't fucking understand it. Whatever. And tag team situation. Why do I say 3 years? So, for example, if you come in and you are chosen, because ain't nobody working hard to do shit, and you are chosen to be the next North American champion, you should hold that title for 6 months. And in those 6 months, that is where you're going to show how you can elevate that, how you are the title, not the title is you, right? How you could make people who get in the ring with you look good, you look good, right? Everyone feels good after watching you do a match, cutting promos, and all those things. That secondary title should be where that takes place. If you can show that you have done well with that secondary title, right? And you're getting praise and they're all on the internet and everybody's really excited and you're the hot topic, then you should go into contention for the main title, which is the NXT title, men or women, okay? This is across both genders. When you are on the main title, that is where you should hold that title for at least 6 months. Just like the secondary title, 6 months. And that's where you get your full year of title understanding and how things work. You're going to travel. I would have the NXT title holder go to the main roster and turn it up on SmackDown and turn it up on Raw. I would have them go down and Evolve because, see, I would want them to understand that because you have the main title, you are the face of the brand, and these are things required of you. More travel, more promotion, more pounding of the flesh, and talking to people, and doing all those things. You have to be prepared for that. Learning to interact with the seasoned vets, supposedly, on these main rosters. And I would consider Evolve even lower than NXT. Go down there and give the rub to the girls down there, right? Yes. After all of that, you did your due diligence. You know you solidified and probably comfortable. Everybody's feeling good or whatever. You should then be put in a tag team situation for the remainder of your contract or maybe another 6 months. So you already got a year and a half. Okay? Learn to tag team. Learn how to work with other people. Learn how to rely on other people. Okay? Learn new moves. Learn how to mesh well. How to make someone who is your complete opposite feel like y'all should have been in a tag team to begin with, right? How to make shit to sugar, okay, and however long that is. And then, after you done touched all the titles that there needs to be, okay, storylines and everything, you should start being acclimated into the main roster for the remainder of your NXT contract. Now, I know TNA is over there, and TNA is fine. You can also do that on TNA, but to be honest with you, TNA doesn't really show the NXT guys and gals what the WWE system is like in requirement on their TV, okay? So for those last maybe year of your contract NXT, you should already be becoming acclimated to the main roster. What does that look like? Showing up in the backstage, mixing it up, starting a storyline with somebody, stepping to a seasoned vet, being one of those ambitious, scrappy young people, right? That should always be a storyline for any NXT upstart, like they call them. You should always have an NXT person, for example, Jada Parker, let's use her. She should have already held that NXT championship. She should have already been a North American title holder. The way they promoting her, but this bitch is never touching a title, is bizarre to me. She should have already been a speed champion, even if you just wanted to give her some credibility with that belt. Okay, so now you're going to have this woman show up on the main roster with no real cushion or credibility outside of her cutting a promo and being sassy as fuck. That's not going to go over well. Because that hip attack finisher, the crowd's going to be like, oh. But they're going to love to say, go Miss Parker, and then they're going to be silent through the whole match, a la Lyra Valkyria. a chick like that, had you put the title on her, the North American, the main title, and put her in a tag team situation in order to win them titles too. Then you send her to the main roster, acclimate her the remainder of her contract. She already got some shit that she could use. So if she stepped to a bitch like, I don't know, Becky Lynch, let's just let her aim high. And Becky Lynch is like, bitch, you just got here. Like, get up out my face. She could say, no, I was actually the North American champion and the NXT champion. And I held that little tag team title jaunt you got. Matter of fact, I want some of that. What you got, that Intercontinental, I want to touch that too. You see what I'm saying? So she's already have some stuff that she could use as credibility, hence building up the star. But when you sending people up there that haven't even touched nothing, it's very difficult to put a battery pack in them. Now, Bianca didn't touch that NXT title, just using as an example. But Vince McMahon saw the star and put a battery pack in her, and now she got accolades for days. Okay? Becky Lynch didn't touch it either. She went back down there and got a hold of it to stack her little resume. Okay, what does Stephanie Fakir say? I'm the only woman who hold all 4 titles in under a year. That's something she could hold on her hat, hang her hat on when she run around talking shit to these girls and whooping their ass. That's how you make a star. You got to have a damn good resume, and you got to have the gift of gab, and you got to have it. You got to have the look. You got to have nice clothes. You gotta put your best foot forward. The shit works in real life. If you at work and you doing what you gotta do, and you go in there and ask for a raise, and they ask you, well, why should I give you a raise? You could be like, well, boom, I did this, this, and this. I did this when you even asked me to do it. Whoop the whoop the whoop. When I'm not here, this is how it runs, and I just think this is where I need to be. You know what I mean? And sell yourself. These people are coming up from NXT, and they can't even sell themselves because there's nothing to sell. There's nothing to sell. JC Jane is not going to be successful on the main roster. I'm going to tell you that right now. She's not. Fallon Henley, she keep that cowgirl shit she got going on. She could be the female version of Hangman Page. Because that's the landscape. I can sit here and tell you who's going to make it on the main roster based on the look and what they already given up. Fallon Henley should have been touching on them titles long time. But you got her stuck up in a damn stable. You know who's going to be a star? That one carrying that doll? I forgot her name. Who is like Daphne reincarnated? That girl is going to be a star simply because of the way she looked. That gothic crazy shit always goes. Now, you got rid of Gigi Dolan. You got rid of old girl with the green hair. And then you had that one with the doll, and I was calling them the goth girls. Had you took them 3 bitches and put them on the main roster, you'd have been selling shirts and some more shit. There go a stable right there. But you don't know what the fuck you're doing. You don't know when you got the money in your goddamn hand and you're not paying these people. So the system is failing regardless. They in there too fucking long. They fucking around. You got them doing, I think Stevie Richards even said, you got them doing all kind of drills and calisthenics and shit that don't got nothing to do with nothing. Okay? It's a nice highlight reel, but they still got to show that they're able to hold these titles equivalent to the main roster. They got to show it. Braun Breaker, he was already the IC champ, and yes, it was cute. But, like, let's be honest. Had he stayed in that feud with Jey Uso and the way them two was barking at each other, that feud there go Cody Rhodes. That feud would have been entertaining, and I would even say pushed him, elevated him, because they would have went hard. But for whatever reason, they pivoted him away from Jey Uso. But now he back in the ring with Jey Uso, but it ain't given what it was given before. So that's just what I think when it comes to NXT. I mean, they're there too long. They're becoming stagnant. Everybody, like Booker T say, I do think they're being a little bit complacent and they feel like ain't nothing going to happen. But now when you got people like Wesley and some other stars that you like, damn, he good. Like, what did he do that got him going? Outside of him being injured, 5 years is too long. I can even say that for Ava. Y'all got rid of Stevie, who was fantastic as a general manager Evolve. She should have been a general manager at NXT. That was the whole purpose of Stevie and Robert Stone was put around Ava, because Ava's a fucking charisma vacuum. Why is this girl still here? Because what Booker T just said, I'm going to put it on Ava. I'm going to put it on a couple of the girls and guys that's down in NXT. Cutler, that goofy one, he should have been left. I don't know what fucking happened to Out the Mud. Like, come on. You got to motivate these people and make them feel good that their career is going to matter when they go to the main roster. And I just think right now NXT ain't doing it. That's why there's no stars. There's no structure. Motherfuckers is just down there trying to get their money up, waiting for their contract to expire because they know they're going to get kicked in the ass like fucking Ridge Harlan. And who wants to deal with that? Y'all go ahead and get in the comments and tell me what you think.